How many of you are in business development right now? Real talk. How many of you actually know what that means? Because here is what I see: professionals with business development in their title who spend 80% of their time doing something else entirely, and their career, their companies, commercial growth are suffering for it. So today, we're going to separate what high value BD professionals actually do from what everyone else mistakes for business development tendering. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do before an RFQ ever hits your desk, and you might realize why your companies always seem to have an advantage. Let me paint a picture. You've got your business development team, or you are your business development team. An RFQ lands in your inbox, a big one. Maybe it's for a $2 million project. Your heart goes up. There is urgency. And what happens? Everyone mobilizes around the bid. You're pulling data from reports. You're coordinating with subject matter experts. You're writing proposals after proposal. You're staying up late, optimizing page layout. You're obsessed over whether the executive summary is strong enough. And then you lose. Or if you win, your margin razor thin because you competed on price instead of value. Here is the problem. That's not business development. That's bid management. And confusing it too will make you stuck personally, professionally, and commercially. Why this matters? Let me be clear about what is at stake. First, your career. If you're in project sector, construction, engineering, consulting, infrastructure, and your entire value is tied to how well you manage bids, you're replaceable. Cheaper, faster tools do that now. But if you're the person who brings in qualified opportunities with relationship authority established, you're valuable. You determine which deals get paused and which doesn't. You shape strategy. You get paid accordingly. Second, your commercial reality. Companies that confuse tendering with bid ends up competing on price. They win slim margin work. They are constantly firefighting. They are stressed. Meanwhile, companies where real business development happens, relationship building, market intelligence, structure, stakeholder engagement, pipeline development, they win on value. They have choice, they have predictability. The gap between two approaches, it's not suitable. We're talking 20 to 30% difference in margin. That's millions of dollars over time. Third, market position. When you do rebidding, you don't find opportunities. Opportunities find you. You hear about projects before the RFQ. You understand the customer's actual problem before they formalize what they are looking for. You're not competing on level playing field with five other bidders. You're already inside. So if you want to move from order taker to a strategic advisor, from margin compressor to value creditor, you need to understand what comes before the bid. Things number one: market and stakeholders mapping. Okay, here's the first thing high value bidding professionals do before an RFQ ever lands. They build intelligence on their market, not generic industry reports. I mean targeted specific intelligence about who makes decisions in your target accounts, not just title. The actual people, their backgrounds, what they care about, what keeps them awake at night, what problem are they actively trying to solve right now? Who influences those decision makers? Sometimes it's not engineer on the ground. Sometimes it's finance directors. Sometimes it's a consultant they trust. You need to know what's their past procurement behavior. Did they last choose the cheapest option, the most innovative, the safest choice. This tells you how to position. When the tender does land, they already know who matters, what they value, and how to position the solution. Everyone else, they get the RFQ and scramble to figure out who to call. You see the difference? Thing two, relationship building, the real work. This is the heart of it. High value BD professionals build relationship before they need anything. Not transactional relationship, not LinkedIn connection where you've never spoken. Real relationship. This means regular, valuable engagements. You're calling someone without an agenda. You're sharing an article relevant to their industry. You're inviting them to an event. You're asking their perspectives on something. Zero acts, pure value. Understand their world. You know their projects. You know their constraints. You know their political landscape, who they need to keep happy, what they can't do, where they are flexible. Build trust over time. One call doesn't do it. 15 calls over 18 months. That works. When the RFQ lands, you're not a stranger. You're someone they already want to work with. Here is what's wide. Most companies wait until they need the project to start building the relationship. That's not late, but then the customer is already evaluating five other firms. You're just noise. High value beauty professionals, they are already in the conversation months or years before a formal opportunity exists. Already trust you. Point three, insight gathering and problem definition. High value beauty professionals become experts in their customers' problem, not surface level problem, deep problems. Example, you're in engineering consulting, a client needs a new facility. The RFQ says design and build a 50 square meter feet facility. Surface level problem, you need a building, but a high value beauty pro dug deeper in previous conversation. They learned the client's real bottleneck is in design, getting permits approved in a new judiciary where they never worked in. They have internal policies. The CFO wants cost control. The operation directors want flexibility. They have been burned before by contractors who misunderstood their workflow. Their time is actually driven by a federal grant deadline, not their standard deadline. And when you write proposal, you're not addressing the RFQ. You're addressing the actual problem. You're demonstrating you understand their specific constraints. You're positioning your solution as the answer to what keeps them awake at night. That's the difference between winning on price and winning on value. And it only happens if you did intelligence work before the bid was public. Thing 4, building strategic alliance. High value beauty professionals are building partnership and alliance strategically. Most companies think about teaming the day the RFQ arrive. We need a subcontractor for X. Who should we call? High value beauty pros are building the professionals before they are needed. Why? Because better partners are already committed to other projects. If you want the best partner, you need to have that relationship locked in ahead of time. Strategic partnership takes time to align. Shared pricing, shared messaging, clarity on rules. You can't do this in 2 weeks. Joint value professionals are stronger. If you and your partners have been working together for a year before RFQ, your bid is more cohesive, more confident, less risk in the customer's. This is particularly critical in complex projects where you need complementary capability. A high value BD professional is asking, who should we be connected to? Who are the natural partner in our ecosystem? And they are building those relationships on purpose before an opportunity exists. Thing 5, positioning and messaging development. The fifth and the final thing, high value PD professionals have their positioning dialed in before they ever write a proposal. And I mean really dialing in. Most companies have a positioning statement that's generic. We deliver high quality solutions on time on projects. Everyone says that. It's noise. High value professionals are asking, what do we actually do differently than our competitors? Which customer value that difference most? What are proof? How do we say it in a way that resonates with this specific market? This take work. You are documenting. Your track recording is their specific sector. The outcome you're delivering, not future outcomes. The problems you solve that others don't. The framework or methodology that makes you different. And you're testing this messaging before the RFQ you're built. You're getting feedback on relationship you've built. You're refining. Then when RFQ lands and you have 4 weeks to write, you're not starting from scratch. You already know what you're saying. Now you're just customizing it for this specific customer. Meanwhile, everyone else is writing from a blank page under deadline pressure. Guess who wins? Synthesis, framework, and call to action. So let's get this together. Here is what high value PD professionals actually do. 6 to 12 months before RFQ markets and stakeholders mapping. Who matters? What do they care about? Ongoing, always. Relationship building, pure value, zero acts. Build trust from months before opportunity formalizes. Deep problem discovery. What's the real issue? Parallel to everything, strategic alliance building. Who are we better with? Continuously positioning refinement. What are actual differentiator? Then when the RFQ lands, it's not panic, it's not scrambling, it's execution. You already know the decision makers, you already understand their problem, you already have the relationship and the partnership in place, you already know how you're positioning the solution. The RFQ is the formalization of work you've already done. It's not the start of your business development. Here is what I want you to take away. If you're currently defined by your ability to manage bids, to write proposal, to chase RFQ, to coordinate tender responsible, you are one of thousands. You are competing on execution speed and writing quality. But if you are the person who brings the opportunity, who understands the market, who has the relationship, who shapes strategy, you are one of the few. You are indispensable. The choice is yours. You can be a bid manager or you can be a business developer. If you want to move into real business development, if you want to build a career and a company around value creation instead of bid chasing, that require a different approach. It requires intentional strategic work before the opportunity formalizes. If this resonates with you, there are two things I want you to do. First, audit your current work. How much time are you actually spending on tender resource through bidding? Be honest. If it's 70% tendering and 20% bidding, you know where you need to shift. Second, pick one of these five areas where you're weakest right now and commit to improving it in the next 90 days. Not all five. One, maybe it's stakeholders mapping. Maybe it's relationship building discipline. Pick one, build a system around it, and watch the difference it makes. The RFQ will come, but the work that determines whether you win, that happens long before. Tendering is not business development.